Hello, TCG and Lorcana enthusiasts, and welcome back to part 4 of our mini-series where we are covering every color from Rise of the Floodborn, the second set for Disney's Lorcana. We've already gone through Amber, Amethyst, Emerald. Now it is time for Ruby. We're already halfway through the entirety of all the colors. Again, there's only 6 colors here. There could be a chance for other colors, but I'm not exactly sure just yet if that would be possible. But anyways, of course, we'll have Sapphire and Steel coming up here very soon, and then we will be done with all the colors. So, Ruby is still the same. It's still aggressive cards that do aggressive things, high value cards that do high value things, and there's a couple of strategies in here. From cards that can buff out the older set 1 deck of Amethyst Ruby control, to cards that can do other styles of deck like Steel Lore, so lore control decks also get a little bit of buff in here as well from a couple of cards. So let's discuss each card from the Ruby color. First up, we got Blue, just a vanilla Blue. We got Bowen, just a vanilla Bowen. We got Card Soldiers, just generic Card Soldiers. I like that they actually gave them the Ruby color because they are red. We have Donald Duck. He has evasive, and then he has Fooey. This character gets +1 lore for each 1 damage on him. So in essence, he wants to be damaged so that he can constantly always be buffing up his lore, which is very nice. The aspect is if he has 4 damage on him, he is questing for turn 5 lore. 4 plus is a traditional 1, which is very, very good there. Not mentioning he has an evasive body. So in essence, he just has that evasive ability where only evasive guys can really target him, besides, of course, the action cards that can remove them as well. So I could definitely be seeing like a Sapphire, like Ruby build where you want to play like him in it so that you can use the Aurora to give yourself a ward so that you can't be targeted by card effects. Now, mind you, Steel can still knock you out because Steel doesn't really have a lot of select cards. Grab Your Sword just deals 2 damage to the entirety of the board. But still, very, very cool card nonetheless, especially for like pure evasive decks. We have Felicia. This has Reckless. This is now a great 1-drop Reckless character to put down in the Ruby Amethyst control decks. This is a card you have to play in that deck. Before we played Gaston as like the 2-drop Reckless. Now we have a 1-drop Reckless. Now we're really threatening. Now we can throw a 1-drop Reckless down the board and threatening our opponent's turn 3 move if they decide to quest with something they don't want to have removed. Very nice. Anyways, we have Fidget. He's just elusive. Honest John. Whenever you play a Floodborn character, your opponent loses 1 lord. So that's like I said. There is a deck strategy coming out from Ruby that is about just stealing your opponent's lore, using like that before, like that Aladdin and then the Shift Aladdin. But now we also have some other characters in here. It's a tiger from the Jungle Book as well, has the ability to gain extra lore. He doesn't steal lore, but he does gain extra lore. But little Honest John could steal. So you would never really quest with Honest John. You would just simply play him there and then play all your Floodborn characters. Again, Floodborn characters have this black border where it would say Floodborn, Villain, and Queen. So be mindful that if you're going to play Honest John, make sure you put a good amount of Floodborn characters in your deck so you can utilize Honest John's effect. But still, not a bad idea to play like a slower, steal your opponent's lore kind of deck. Now, mindful that aggro and decks that can quickly collect lore very, very fast won't really care for this, but decks that are a little slower or mid-range might really start caring about you stealing their lore very slowly while you're gaining lore. So it's a very neat idea and definitely something to be played around with. More cards need to have this style, but the problem is, unless we're going to see more Floodborn cards in future sets to really buff out these cards, I'm not sure how good they will be in future sets. Now, there is a chance that when we see future cards like set 3, 4, and 5 that still have like Floodborn, then these cards will still be very, very good. My one fear is that these are only exclusive to this one set and we'll never really see any like support forever. Trust me, a lot of card games do that. They print some cards. Yu-Gi-Oh's notorious for that, for printing an archetype and then never giving it support for the rest of its existence. And he sometimes gets legacy for like a couple years down the line, or 10, mattering on how old the archetype is. But anyways, let's move on. Lady Tremaine, she's a shift 4, cost Lady Tremaine, power to rule at last. When you play this character, each opponent chooses and banishes one of their characters. That is very, very good. Again, Ruby's very aggressive on the way it's built. Ruby likes to just be aggressive, like destroy character, destroy white boards, lose lore, create big guys with reckless. Just create annoying people that destroy board presence. So very good nonetheless. And again, she does shift over any Lady Tremaine, which is very interesting because the fact that shift just says Lady Tremaine. You can actually put the Emerald Lady Tremaine in here if you're using the Emerald engine and just shift over that 6-cost Lady Tremaine there as well. Lady Tremaine that allows you to get an action back to your hand. So nonetheless, very cool. So she just decides to just banish a character right off the board. Just get rid of it. Goodbye. So in essence, she's Maleficent, but just a little bit cheaper. Anyways, we have Lady Tremaine. When you play this character, each opponent with more lore than you loses 1 lore. So in essence, if your opponent's in the head of lore, you could just play her down and then just have your opponent lose a lore. And in essence, then shift for 4 to get to the better Lady Tremaine. Anyways, we have Lumineer, just a generic. We have the Minnie Mouse Evasive right here. If you see my aggro evasive deck, you know how good this is. 1/3 evasive, quest for 2. Then we have this Minnie Mouse. I'm trying to figure out how exactly we can break this Minnie Mouse. Anyways, what she does is she shifts 2 over any Minnie Mouse. You're going to shift her over the 1-cost Minnie Mouse from the original Ruby set, or the original set, I guess you should say. And then whenever you play a second action per turn, she goes up to 2, she gains 2 lore. So in essence, she's questing for 3 lore a turn. I think there is a way to possibly break this, but I think you need like an action-heavy deck. If you had the ability like to play like a steel song deck, and then have like the Ruby engine in there, that'd be pretty cool. I think there's ways to break this. We'll just have to kind of see how the sets evolve, if there are further ways to break this Minnie Mouse to make her just automatically always questing for 3, because she is evasive as well, so can't be challenged except by other evasive characters. But she can of course be destroyed by all the action cards in this game. We have Minnie Mouse, Zip It Around, just a vanilla Minnie Mouse. Mother Gothel, this character enters play with 3 damage. I'm not sure why, but well, I mean, she's withered and wicked. I mean, this is when she's about to, she's dying at the end of like Rapunzel. So yeah, I'm not 100% sure for this, but okay. I'm not sure. I guess the application is that if you play this in like Amber, if you play like an Amber Ruby deck, and then just put her down for the 3, and then had Rapunzel next turn to come down and heal the 3 off of her, in essence, then drawing 3 cards, I could definitely see that combo. Indeed. Anyways, we have Mulan, a rush card. Again, a very nice card to put into decks like Amethyst Ruby Control, just to put that rusher down and then just swing in the control of your opponent's board state. We got Namari. You can tap her, banish his character, banish chosen character. In essence, she's just there to banish stuff. She's okay. There's just so much better ways in Ruby to get rid of things, but on a 4-cost body that can just banish anything that for tapping it is not bad, especially if you know your opponent has something like a Stitch Rockstar or an annoying card you need to get rid of. This is not bad. Now, be mindful that Ward still works against her, because Ward says your opponent that card cannot be selected for effects. So just be mindful that Ward doesn't work with her. We have the Queen of Hearts. She has Rush, so again, another person to get in there and start doing damage. And then we have the Queen of Hearts Shift for 2, which is really nice. In essence, play this Queen of Hearts, and then next turn you can play this Queen of Hearts. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, you may draw a card. So we're kind of seeing a very good little draw engine here. Ruby really wants to be challenging, really wants to control the board presence with all of its guys. It had, especially if you play Amethyst with a lot of its rushers like Rafiki and Zeus. And then we see Mulan here. We also have all our reckless guys in Ruby that need to challenge. So in essence, this is really nice because that means you get to draw a card. And we'll see another card here with Shere Khan that's very good about why you want to be rushing, why you want to be challenging your opponent's characters. So nonetheless, a very good card just because, again, drawing is so minute in this game that you need cards that just draw you cards. That's why Amber's really good now at it. Why Amethyst is very good at it, while Sapphire is now very good at it. And, well, Ruby we've seen with this. Emerald's got a pseudo draw engine under its hand control deck. But nonetheless, very good card. Ratigan. This is my kingdom. When you play this character, exert chosen opposing character with 3 power or less. Choose one of your characters and ready them. They can't quest for the turn. So in essence, what he's just doing is he's choosing one of your opponent's card with very few little power, and then readying one of your chosen characters, and then basically in essence just having go and challenge that character. So in essence, you could just stand up your rush guys if they survived. Stand up one of your big powerful guys if they survived. In essence, all you're really doing is you're going to quest with one guy, bring the Ratigan in, exert one of your opponent chosen character with 3 power or less, and then just choose your guy you just quest with that turn, and then swing them into the guy. And then, of course, if you have like Queen of Hearts up or Shere Khan, you can get some buffs off of that. Anyways, we have Rhea. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may ready this character. She can't quest for the rest of the turn. So in essence, this is where that combo would come in with Ratigan. You would quest first with Rhea, so that you can, of course, gain at least the 1 lore. You would put in Ratigan, you would exert something, you would ready her, she can't, again, she can't quest, and then you would swing in, knock that guy out, and then she would ready herself again per her own effect, and then she can't quest with her own effect either. Ratigan doesn't allow it either, but then you could swing something in again. Again, another combo with going with, of course, with the Queen of Hearts and Shere Khan. So you can definitely see a interesting Amethyst Ruby control deck, where in essence, the whole entire idea of your deck is just control board. Just knock stuff out, rest stuff, knock it out, get rid of it, just swing all over the place and draw cards and gain lore. That's what Shere Khan will do for you. We have a shift for Rhea. Whenever this character challenges a damaged character, she takes no damage from the challenge. So that's very good in my opinion. Again, just another card you can combo with the Ratigan. So in essence, if you're playing a steel deck, where steel can put out a lot of damage in areas where like damaging some big guy that you know for a fact that you just need like 5 power to knock out, go summon this Rhea onto the board, or shift for this Rhea, no matter which one you want to do, swing into that damaged character that you don't want your opponent to have anymore, and just knock it out. It's gone. You don't take any damage from this challenge. Then you could even restand with Ratigan and swing again on another damaged character. Again, very, very nice. I'm seeing some synergy here about just swing and kill everything. That's why I'm really seeing Ruby, at least a couple of these cards we're looking at right now, that just really want to just like knock out your opponent's board. So I could definitely see if you're going to do this style, I would play a lot of the Amethyst cards that exert your opponent's characters. So that way you constantly can always go at them. Now be mindful if you're going to play Steel to really utilize this Rhea, just be mindful that Steel, that you're going to have to play the turn and then wait a turn to trigger all your Steel cards so this Rhea can trigger off. We have a vanilla Rhea, and then we have a new Scar. He has Rush himself. 7 cost is a little high, but not bad. During your turn, whenever this character banishes another character in a challenge, you may raid this character. He can't quest for the turn. In essence, again, we're seeing more of this. I'm going to punch one of your guys out. I'm going to ready myself, but I can't quest. Now, mindful, this is really good because he does have Rush on him. So, again, the turn he comes in, he's not going to be able to quest anyways. Rush only states I can challenge characters the turn I come in. I can't quest for the turn I come in. There may be a chance we see an effect where, like, a Rush pseudo effect, where it does allow you to quest the turn you come in. We'd have to wait probably a couple more sets before we get that, because then we're really speeding the game up very, very fast if we're starting to see colors utilize that effect. There'd have to be some kind of restriction on it, and we would need something that could, like, protect our stop our opponent from gaining lore for a turn. Stuff like that could be definitely very interesting. But anyways, I also like his daddy isn't here to save you. But anyways, it's really nice because he comes rushing in, he knocks something out. If you have the Queen of Hearts or Shere Khan up on the board, you can get their effects off as well, and then you get to restand and go again. Just clean up this board. Just get rid of all your opponent's guys. So, very, very good indeed. I don't know how many copies you play. If anything, I play about a 2 to 3 copy. I wouldn't play a lot of him just because he is a non-inkable 7 cost guy. So you have to wait until you're up into your 7. But if you're playing like a Sapphire or Ruby ramp deck, You could definitely put this in. You ramp easily into that into the necessary ink. 𝐿𝐴𝐿, don't insult my intelligence. Whenever one of your characters challenges another character, gain a lore. Now, mind you, that doesn't matter how many times that character is challenged. As long as we're challenging characters, we are gaining lore. So in essence, we're all these characters that we have like can't quest for the turn if they restand, can't quest for the turn if they restand, can't quest for the turn if they get restood. 𝐿𝐴𝐿 doesn't care for that. He's like, yeah, you challenge everything on the board, I'm going to get you lots of lore. So in essence, you can see a combo here of using the red queen to draw cards for every challenge, with 𝐿𝐴𝐿 to gain lore for every challenge, and then there is I saw one time a deck that is playing 𝐿𝐴𝐿 in it, I think the Queen of Red Hearts, and even Honest John, and playing a lot of the Floodborn characters from Ruby, like, well, Queen of Hearts being a Floodborn character, you could play as Rhea being a Floodborn character, but using this character to then just slowly chip away your opponent's lore as well. So, nonetheless, if you're going to play a Ruby deck, you gotta really consider putting in 𝐿𝐴𝐿 and Queen of Hearts right now, especially now with Amethyst Ruby Control. These are probably now mandatory to be in the deck, because now we're really playing more of a control deck, where we are really controlling the board presence, with 𝐿𝐴𝐿 gaining us lore and Queen of Hearts just drawing us cards. But anyways, we got a Tigger here, Interjetic. Whenever you play an action, this character gets +2 power. Yeah, that's okay. Not great, but okay. We got 𝐑𝐄𝐋𝐿. He's reckless, but a reckless 4 cost is very good at 4/5. So he's got a pretty big booty and can deal a lot of damage at a 4 cost. So anyways, let's get into our actions and songs. Go the Distance. A character at 2 costs or less can sing this. Ready chosen damage character of yours. They can't quest for the turn and draw a card. We're kind of seeing a lot of these action cards now that are kind of like do this and then draw a card. Hypnotize from green. We saw a couple of emerald cards like Improvised Weapon, do this and then draw a card, which I think is really, really cool. In essence, you're spilling one card out of your hand and then drawing a card to replace it. So you're going +0 for that, but still, not bad. It's also not bad either because, again, if you have a damaged character and you need to restand them to clean up something on your opponent's side of the board to trigger, of course, 𝐿𝐴𝐿 or the Queen of Red Hearts. Or Queen of Hearts. I don't know why I said Red Hearts. She's Queen of Hearts. But that's not a bad thing here. Again, a lot of your reckless guys can never quest for anything. So having them like sitting in rested form when they could swing again and knock out something, especially with 𝐿𝐴𝐿 on the board, is probably a good thing to have. Again, you can even sing this for free. 𝐿𝐴𝐿 could sing this. Any one of your low guys can sing this. So, I mean, it's only just a 2-cost thing, and that's pretty good, nice. Teeth and Inhibition. You can either play it for 2 or sing on a guy who's 2 costs or less. Deal 2 damage to a chosen character of yours. Deal 2 damage to another chosen character. So in essence, you're dealing damage on yourself to deal damage on your opponent. So it's a very interesting idea. I'm not exactly sure which decks can really utilize it well. I'd have to really think about like what decks can really utilize this card really well, because again, you're damaging yourself to do stuff. But it can be actually, no. If you're going to play the Amber engine with a Ruby engine, this is actually a really good card to play in there because of Amber's so much ability to heal. We've seen 3 different Rapunzels that can heal you. So another Ruby card that can just deal damage on the board, especially with this Rhea, in essence, not being able to take any damage for any challenge that she does when she challenges a damaged character, is not bad. Again, that 2 damage is really good. In a steel deck, I think this is not bad either, especially with all the amount of steel cards we have that can deal damage. So dealing that little extra bit of damage is not too bad. And then we have the Most Diabolical Scheme. We got another song here. I think this is actually our last song. Oh, we got one more. So anyways, banish chosen villain character of yours to banish chosen character. So in essence, just banish one of your own villains to banish one of someone of your guys' cards. So not bad. You'd have to play a big enough villain package. And yeah, there's a villain deck out there. It was a set 1 deck. Villains was a set 1 deck. So this just gives a little more power for like playing all those villains so that you can basically, in essence, use this card to knock something out. Knock one of your own villains out, like one maybe has too much damage on it, so you just want to get rid of it. Or heck, knock it out, and then cycle it back with the Amber Hades, so you can get it back to your hand, because Hades is a villain. What did you call me? Chosen character gets +3 power for the turn. For a 1 cost, that's not bad, just not great. Again, if you're going to play like the Ruby, the Emerald cards that need to have their power buffed up high enough so they can get that extra lore, that's not too bad in that deck. You can fly, you can sing it for 2, or pave 2. Chosen character gains evasive starting the next turn. So in essence, all you're doing is giving something evasive, which I don't think is too bad of a card indeed. Just giving you something evasive is not bad at all until the start of your next turn. So in essence, you're just protecting something on your board from your opponent's challenges, which is pretty nice. Dinner Bell, pay 2, so tap it and pay 2, draw cards equal to the damage of a chosen character of yours, and then banish them. That is very, very good. Now, it might sound kind of intuitive, like, well, that kind of sucks. I mean, I don't want to just banish my own guy, but you get to draw. For instance, if this 𝐑𝐿 has 4 damage on him, you can tap the Dinner Bell, pay 2, banish a 𝐑𝐿, draw 4 cards. Very, very good. Like a Maui. Maybe a Maui only has like a damage lift on him. I think he's a 6/5. Yeah, he's a 6/5. Tap it, pay the 2, draw 4 cards. Again, very nice indeed. Very nice. And not mentioning with the ability like Amber, where you could cycle your cards back with like Hades. This is very good because you can destroy a reckless guy. Then you could play like Hades, gain that reckless guy back, and look at that, you just drew 4 cards and you could possibly gotten the guy back. So in essence, this is just very good to knock out your guys that are so far damaged that it's not really worth keeping them up on the board just for your opponent to knock them out. Why don't you just knock them out and gain advantage for it? Hand advantage in this game is very important, especially for decks that don't have a draw engine or decks that aren't seeing their draw engines. Peter Pan's Dagger, characters with evasive get +1. Power. So in essence, you could play this in a pure evasive deck just so you can constantly buff up all your evasive guys, just so they're a little more hitty. They're not going to be tanky, but they're going to be a little more hitty if you need to use them to hit stuff off your opponent's board. And then we have the Sword in the Stone. Tap it, pay 2, chosen character gets +1 for the turn for each damage on them. So in essence, if you have a guy with a lot of damage on it, you can just basically, in essence, just give them a lot of power. Pretty neat. So overall, Ruby hasn't really changed much from the last set. It's still about aggression. It's still about board control. It's still about knocking stuff out. It's still about like lore control. So it's still a control strategy, just an aggressive control strategy. But overall, I can see a couple of strategies coming out here from the Ruby Amethyst deck of using Queen of Hearts, 𝐿 to constantly challenge characters, knock them out, and then draw cards using a lot of the Amethyst cards that will exert your opponent's guys, so you constantly can use your Reckless and your Rushers your Rushers mainly to come in and then knock them out, and then draw a card off the Queen of Hearts, gain a lure off 𝐿. And then of course we saw some more evasive cards that are very good, like Donald Duck. They can almost go up to 5 lure a turn as long as he's at 4 damage. We've seen an ability of Honest John if you want to play a lot of Floodborn characters with Ruby and whatever color you put them into, so that you can constantly just drain your opponent's lore at a very nice pace. We have, of course, cards like Lady Tremaine that again banishes stuff. So we have, in essence, the same thing we see when set 1's Ruby, where it's just nice aggression, just very good control cards, and just buffs out control strategies with the Ruby color very, very well. But let me know your thoughts down in the comments on the Ruby cards from Rise of the Floodborn. What do you think about them? What decks have you started using them in? What deck strategies have you come up with? Let me know all of that. And while you're writing down all those comments, do make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring the bell so you get notified when my videos go live for you. And we'll see you here next time on Mama Dragons TCG.